All right, what's going on, everyone? Welcome to today's backtesting session. It is we're going to be backtesting the week of the 6th, January 2025. And just starting off, the structure of this video is just going to be me going through the charts, and then I'm just going to be pausing whenever I need to take the journal. And then I'm going to be timestamping like when I go over the explanations so that we don't waste time here. So, yeah, um, basically, starting off, so I already did everything here. I want to see a sweep by side and then target here because we have really good draws. We have intermediate lows as well as data low. The reason for this is because even though we're higher time frame bullish, right? We recently stepped into this intermediate high as well as ES. So that means that we have true manipulation in a sense, right? We both are sweeping some form of liquidity and we are sweeping into a higher time frame key level. So that's kind of my structure, or liquidity pool, whatever you want to call it, imbalance. So what I really want to see is some kind of resweep and then retrace down. That's kind of my bias for the day. Alternatively, we could also follow the trend and then see a sweep lower and then towards buy side liquidity. I have a feeling that price is just going to go one way or the other, but we're just going to wait and then see. If anything, I'm just going to explain my path further. But this is my pre-market analysis for the 6th of January. All right. I'll see you when it plays out or whatever. Okay. Right back into it. So I basically found an opportunity. So let me just go into it, right? So market opens, we end up sweeping into this 4-hour gap. We end up sweeping out buy side liquidity right here. And then we end up creating a bunch of 5-minute gaps, right? So what I noticed above is that we swept into this 15-minute fill. We swept into this 15-minute unfilled gap right here. We also have more up here as well, which is actually concerning, but I might just fade. So we have a 30-minute gap that we actually filled. So this is actually a 30-minute gap. After price sweeps into that, we see a 2-minute inversion to the downside immediately. And then we have a unfilled 5-minute right here. I wanted to do a 1-to-1. We have equal lows. Perfect. I'm not gonna lie, this might be a pattern trade because we do have a 15-minute at our stop right here. So I'm actually gonna mark that out too. We have a 15-minute at our stop, which might be concerning. But yeah, I'm still gonna mark it. I'm still gonna see if this is a valid trade or not. Or not that it's not valid, but this is like an example of a low probability trade. So I know exactly the reason why I lost is because we have this 15-minute gap up here, as well as this is like the first inversion, right? So if we end up coming up, resweep, and then target this 5-minute, I wouldn't be surprised. And I might even enter that because that's exactly what might happen. So yeah, I already documented it in my journal. So let's just see what happens. Just gonna place the order right now. So yeah, we tapped to this 15-minute and then we close below this 2-minute inversion. We have equal lows down here and then we have an unfilled 5-minute up here. So I'm just gonna mark it out. And then we hit our equal low and then we chop and then we our stop at our 15. And then watch this. This is gonna hit this. I feel it's just gonna go straight down, or not. I don't know. I might chop. It's just gonna chop. Never mind. Okay, I was wrong. All right, that's the first loss of the day, which sucks. But you know what? It is what it is. We just traded chop. I think a bad. I think this was a pattern trade. To be honest, I don't think this is that great of a trade because we have that 15-minute above, as well as I just didn't notice it by the time I took the trade. We had a 15-minute above, and then generally just yeah. So whatever is what it is. We'll just move on. I'm gonna like take notes on this. One more thing I want to mention. So we did have this 15-minute at our stop, but this was also a really bad trade. It doesn't really matter. It's a Mac 5, or a max short towards this unfilled 5. But at the same time, our stop loss is going to be above the swing high right here. And I just, this should have been a trade that I should have faded because of that unfilled 15. So I kind of just took it as a pattern trade. It is what it is. All right, welcome to the next day. It is Tuesday, the 7th of January, 2025. We're just going to go right into it. And I'll just tell you my pre-market bias right after I mark out this chart. All right, for Tuesday, we can see that on the higher time frame, we're basically kind of in a similar behavior as yesterday. We recently swept into this 4-hour, and then if we look at the hourly, we kind of have this like a similar trend on that as well. We recently took out this hourly intermediate high that was right here, and then we have a tap into the hourly above. And then if we go on the 5-minute, we can see that right at like 9 to close to market open, we end up sweeping into that and then end up sweeping that out. So what I wanted to see coming to market open was that we have another resweep and then towards low resistance and sell side liquidity down here. The reason for that is because we have really good draw on liquidity, right? We have this intermediate 5-minute low. We have these low resistance as well as sell side liquidity. And we're just overall trending. Well, we just recently tapped into this hourly. We are trending higher, but at the same time, we're generating low resistance liquidity to the downside. We also have an unfilled hourly above or below right here. I think it's not, or unfilled 4-hour. Yeah, sorry, unfilled 4-hour. ES is also trending higher. We recently swept into this hourly. So what I kind of wanted to see ES do was sweep into this 30-minute and then retrace back down towards the sell side, which is similar to what we have here on the 5-minute. Sell side liquidity right here. So let's just get into it. It's already back tested, or it's already journaled and everything. So I'm going to see if it offers any opportunity, but that's my pre-market bias for today. I'll see you when and if we get a setup. All right, today was a no trade day. If we look at 9:30 open, prior to the market open, we see that we end up sweeping lower, and then we sweep up buy side liquidity. But do we have an entry? Nope, we don't have any entry. Comes to take out all of our buy side liquidity almost immediately, like this, right? This is our intended TP. We open up a 5-minute right here, and also we end up sweeping into this 15 gap, as well as sell side, more sell side. And then we form a 5. We have a huge gap right here, and also this actually could have been something, but I think it could have been anything. Nope, we don't have any entries here. We have one on M and Q. Nope. So there's no entries here. We're not going to take this. Yeah, no entry. So like I said, there was no entry. We basically shot down like so much. And then we end up sweeping to this 5. This moment in time, I'm like, okay, cool. So I'm looking for any kind of inversion off of this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we have swept into this 5. We end up creating this 5-minute right here. So this is the highest time frame inversion, right? Unfortunately, we are also at 9:50. News, high impact news is at 10. So I'm not going to trade that until 10. Happens at 10. Well, as you can see here, we keep going lower. We end up invalidating this. And we trade here. Price is already here. So in my head, I am probably not going to trade right at news open, right? I want to be able to not do that. I'm going to fade this trade. Although it is valid, I'm going to fade it because it is very high impact. And although we did get a good closure, what is our draw? We don't have any other draw besides the one down here. Where is our TP? Probably here. I don't like my odds here, so I'm going to fade. And of course, we end up sweeping to our TP. Yeah, this is just a fade for me. I just didn't like the idea of trading during news, especially those like high impact ones. So this was a fade. All right. I don't remember. I don't really remember where I left off, but we basically swept into this 5-minute gap right here, and then we basically dumped to the downside. I didn't take this trade because it was right at news, and as you can see here, it was extremely volatile, and then it ripped straight down. If by chance news was like this and it was like extremely, I probably would have taken it if it generated low resistance or any other kind of time frame, because we also had some like unfilled 5 minutes down below right here, which were pretty good targets for me to have. Yep, unfilled 5. Let me see exactly where it is. Yeah, like down here. So that would have been a great target to sweep, and then price does eventually get into it. But yeah, basically it was a continuation trade off of like this gap basically. We could have had a long towards this because we filled into a 15-minute bullish. This is actually a bullish gap. But we could have had a long towards that, towards the unfilled 5. But I didn't see a setup with it for me. Like there's no setups. Like if this was a 1 minute, I would have taken it, but there wasn't. So we could have taken it here though. But yeah, no, it's too messy. Yeah, trade was faded. So unfortunate, but it is what it is. Yeah. All right. On to the next. All right, my pre-market bias for the day is, well, it's either or, right? So we're bearish. The reason for that is because look at this gap right here, right? 10 a.m. from yesterday, we swept and we invalidated this gap. Since then, we have been basically respecting it. If we look at the hourly, what did we do here? We basically tapped into this gap, and then we are starting to displace below it. Well, not really. We're actually generating liquidity below, which is a really good point for us to make. Or a good draw on liquidity for us to make. We have an unfilled 15-minute below, as you can see here. We also have really good draw on liquidity below that. We have relative equal lows, as well as an hourly unfilled gap below us. So what do I want? I want to see us take out this 15-minute intermediate high. That is also within this gap as well. And then after that, just target the 15 and sell side liquidity, or just target all the way down here. So let's just see what price has to give us. ES has similar behavior. Literally the same, high key. Like it's literally the same. All right. I'll see you. Okay, for our next trade, we basically found something that's kind of valid, I guess. All right, this is like continuation. Like this is like accumulation. I swear. Okay, market opens. We basically we just keep swinging, and then we hit into this 15-minute gap right here. As I said before, I was waiting for a resweep. We end up getting that resweep at exactly 9:53. And then we kind of wait for this inversion on the 2-minute because that's the highest time frame gap. We have a 2-minute, and then exactly at 10 a.m. we have a candle closure. Unfortunately, though, this candle closure is really high. At this 5-minute, it is only 0.67. So either I wanted to limit order, but fortunately, this thing is like look at this versus a limit order, which I wanted to try at least here in the middle. I could target at least a 1-to-1 up here around that 5-minute gap, because in addition to that, we are also, it will be in a 15 because this will be our break even point. And yeah, I mean, we have other unfilled gaps, but we need to see from there. So yeah, I wanted to see where this one would go. So let's just get to it. Oh, our stop loss will be at the body of the close, because if price manages to come all the way down here, more than likely it's gonna sweep this out. So might as well have less RR for there. Just a 1-on-1 because I don't really trust this accumulation period. But yeah, Let's just do this. I might be wrong. Who knows? Let me just make sure. In order, bottom, and just move on from there. Great. Okay, we just got in, and then look at that. Unfortunately, I should have market ordered because obviously TP was hit almost immediately. Is this stuck? Yep, TP was hit almost immediately. Well, this is another loss for me. I'm not thinking straight or something like that. This must be like, I mean, no, I'm gonna, whatever. I can't go back. But unfortunately, if I limit ordered, or I'm not limit ordered, but if I just, oh my God, I'm freaking out. If I just did this, break even, this intermediate high, and then obviously would have gotten stopped out break even, but unfortunately, that is not what happened. You can see now that we were intending to be bearish after this got swept out, because as you can see, as soon as this got swept out, we stepped into this 5-minute gap or whatever, and then we created a 3-minute inversion to the downside. From there, could have entered right here, stop below there, targeting our original targets right down here. And as you can see, that I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm just stupid. It is what it is. This is so hard to like. Trading is hard, bro. I feel stupid at times. I'm not gonna lie with you. Probably because we hit this intermediate low. And then we traded higher from there. All right, it's a loss. I'm probably gonna call it for this backtesting video, even though it's in the middle of Wednesday. But yeah, I'll just upload a part 2 later when I feel like I'm like not losing like my mentality. Because right now I just feel like crap. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah. All right.